All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the postgame show, Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. We have Nuggets and Magic to react to. The Nuggets just blow out the Orlando Magic. 112-90 is your final. No Jamal Murray tonight. Just got an update from Michael Malone. Said his knee was bothering him today. It's just going to be kind of one of those deals for the rest of the season, unfortunately. Same thing with Aaron Gordon and his calf, although AG did play tonight. But Malone was asked if Jamal Murray was going to play against the Phoenix Suns on Saturday. And Malone said he hopes that's the case. That's the plan, but they just don't know yet. So, look, I thought the Nuggets did an excellent job tonight without Jamal Murray. They were fantastic throughout this game. Defensively, Malone was very, very pleased with the Nuggets defense tonight. And he specifically mentioned Christian Brown and Zeke Naji, praising both of those two for their defensive efforts. And in fact, he went back as far as saying over the last 5-6 games, he's been very impressed with the performance of Zeke Naji, who did not end up getting traded. We'll get into the trade deadline was today, obviously. Calvin Booth actually spoke here at Ball Arena before the game. I've got a little bit of that to play for you all. I saw a lot of people being critical of Calvin in the organization for not making any moves at the deadline. The Nuggets were one of only 4 teams in the NBA that did not make any moves at the deadline. And I said last night, I said it was 60-40 that the Nuggets were going to trade Zeke Naji. Obviously, that wasn't the case. And look, the Nuggets are just not in a position right now to be facilitating a lot of trades. I mean, that's just the hard truth of it. They're up against the cap. They're in the first apron of the salary cap. They've got essentially 4 max players on this team, and they don't have a lot of draft picks over the next 4 to 5 years. So this is the team, everybody. This is it. Now we'll see if they do anything on the buyout market. Saw a lot of people today talking about Bruce Brown. Will the Pelicans buy him out? Is that an option for Denver? It would be highly unlikely that the Nuggets would be able to pull that off. In fact, they would have to cut somebody from the current roster to make that happen, which is fine, but the money's got to match up. And if they were going to cut somebody off the roster, it's going to be one of their more significant players. So I don't expect that to happen. But as far as the game tonight, Michael Porter Jr. is like on a tear right now. The first time in his career that Michael Porter Jr. has scored 30 or more points in 3 straight games for MPJ. I tell you what, he's playing at an all-star level right now. And if the Nuggets can get this team, this version of Michael Porter Jr. consistently for the rest of the year, that's what's going to make them a legitimate championship contender. So excellent stuff from Michael tonight. He's shooting the ball with confidence. 11 of 16, another really efficient night. How about this, by the way? MPJ and Nikola both go 11 of 16 from the field. And MPJ has 30, and Nikola has 28. Nikola does get another triple-double on the season. Again, both phenomenal tonight. Julian Strawther struggled tonight. Malone talked about after the game, if you're watching on the sidelines at all, Malone was kind of getting on Julian, not in a bad way, but he was really coaching him up hard. And Malone said he just told Julian, like, hey, man, keep your head up. We need you. You're our guy, and this is just going to be one of those nights where you got to move forward, and they're going to need him. So bad night for Julian Strawther, but excellent night for the Nuggets defensively, and they were just absolutely fantastic tonight as they are blasting music right now in Ball Arena. I don't know how loud that's coming through the speakers here, so I apologize, but they're having a some sort of party here. I can show you at Ball Arena. Down here, I don't know exactly what's going on, but yeah, they're having some sort of a party here at Ball Arena. So apologize for the noise there. All right, while we do that, let's go ahead and listen to Nuggets GM Calvin Booth. Here he is before the game, his post-trade deadline press conference. We'll get to that in just a second.
sort of just walk us through the process of what led you to end up with no moves today and what you might have been looking at in terms of potential options?
Yeah, I think this trade deadline was a little bit different from the last one. I think we had a little bit more to work with asset-wise. But I think the best way to describe it is we either had to go big or do nothing, right? And we definitely like some guys in the market, and thought we had some traction in a couple different situations, and whether other teams just beat us out with their offers or we just didn't feel like it was the right use of our assets, combination of those things just led us to be where we're at right now. So
I know it's always your obligation to continue looking for ways to upgrade, looking for ways to make the team better. Coach Malone was in here saying that he feels very comfortable with the current group. Do you feel comfortable with the current group as it's currently constructed?
Yeah, I think we're going to need health as we're constructed right now. I think overall depth and depth at the backup center would have been questions that we would like to address at the deadline. I think DeAndre has done an admirable job, but he's long in the tooth, and he's been durable, so that's been good. But I think everybody's been surprised about how good he's been, and hopefully he can continue it. But I think adding another piece that coach was comfortable playing there would have been nice. I think Zeke obviously has shown recently something I've known for a while. He's probably should just be best at the 4. So I think as long as Aaron stays healthy, we should be okay at the backup 5, but it is a concern of mine.
With Zeke having been in and out of the rotation, just on his current contract, how are you guys kind of navigating his future? How are you kind of taking in?
Well, he's here right now, and obviously he's one of the pieces that we're looking at going out there, because you look at our salary sheets and there's only so many contracts outside of our main guys that can go out, so it's pretty easy to figure what guys were going to go out if we did a trade. So I think he's been playing great lately. Obviously if we'd have made a move, we'd probably been elsewhere, but he's here today, and hopefully keeps on showing what he can do on the basketball court.
Kevin, when you look around the West, there are some big moves, Butler going to Golden State. How does that change the landscape for the West, and how did that kind of alter maybe what you were thinking about doing?
I just think the league goes in cycles. It's getting bigger. I think having positional integrity, being able to play people at their proper positions, and being big at the 5 is something I think is important. And obviously, when we have Joker in there, we're like that. And DeAndre, again, he is that size, but it'd be nice to have a legitimate, bigger, younger guy. So I think the size factor in the West is, Sacramento, they ended up with Valanciunas. Obviously, the Lakers did what they did. The Lakers did what they did with Mark Williams. I was thinking about the Mavs, though. They did what they did with AD, and now they have Lively and Gafford. Minnesota's played big in the past, so a lot of size and length out west. It's going to be a battle in the paint. It's going to be really physical.
Kelvin, you mentioned, kind of either making a big move or doing nothing. So had you made a big move, feels like Michael Porter Jr. would have been a guy involved in that. So
well, I think a big move in my mind is adding a significant depth piece. I think we liked everything that was happening in our rotation. So I don't think we weren't close to doing anything with anybody in our rotation. It was going to be, some of the guys that were outside of it, like Dario and Zeke, and using some of our draft assets to bolster our lineup, as opposed to moving a bigger guy like Mike.
Calvin, at the start of the year, at media day, you said you feel like there are 9 real guys on this team. How do you feel like that kind of storyline is tracked, and where that number is at now?
Yeah, I feel like, you just have to watch how Coach Malone utilizes the lineup. It seems like he's played Julian a lot. He's playing 8. I think he's had moments that are good, moments that are bad. I think defensively, it's going to be a challenge for him in the playoffs right now. And so hopefully, when if he's getting playoff minutes, he's humming offensively, which hasn't always been there. But I think we have I would call it like it's really difficult to determine our starting lineup, right? So we have 6 or 7 starters, and we have like we have a drop off after that. So, and I think it's not an insult to anybody, the Julian or any of the other guys on the roster, but I just think that's where we're at. I think those 6 or 7 guys have played that well.
In terms of navigating the new CBA, just how did that sort of affect your process, and how do you think that affected around the league this year?
Well, going back from when I took over the job, we had to put together organizationally a team that we felt like they could compete. And that started out by, using some of our future assets to get draft picks, to take Peyton Watson, to take Julian. So I think from the start of my tenure here, we haven't been the bank. We've been the person going to the bank and asking for a mortgage. So I think we'd like to get out of that cycle, but also we realize that Joker's time is now. And if the opportunity presents itself to use those assets to really improve our team, I think we're close in a couple of things and feeling that way this trade deadline. We're going to do that because you got one time, one career with him here. So,
do you anticipate being active on the buyout market, or are the options there to you kind of not enough to add something to the rotation?
It just depends on what it is. I think ownership is open to any conversation. Obviously, we're limited because we're above the first apron, so we're going to be limited in the guys we can look at. But we'll see who comes on the buyout market, and we'll have those conversations as it comes.
Was there any conversation about trying to get under that first apron to open up some of that flexibility?
Yeah, I think more so we were focused on there were some impact guys that moved, so that were way better than guys on the buyout market. So I think that, in the deals we would have done, I don't think it would have allowed us to. I mean, it was an option. Do we go get a guy in the trade market, or do we just get below and try to get one of these guys that's potentially going to be in the buyout market that made above a certain.
Okay, so there was Nuggets GM Calvin Booth. They are still blasting the music in here, so hopefully you can hear me okay. But great stuff there from Calvin Booth. And look, I've talked about this a bunch. You just heard Calvin talking about it. There really wasn't a whole lot this team could have done. Did say an interesting line there. He said, we want to get out of the cycle of being the guys that go to the bank to take out a mortgage. They've kind of been in that cycle. It's really what it means by that is giving up draft picks and draft capital and assets. So this is your team, everybody. This is the 24-25 Denver Nuggets. This is the team that's going to, hopefully give this city another chance at a title here in the Mile High City. And, you heard him talk about Michael Porter Jr. They were not seriously considering moving on from him. They weren't considering moving on from, the 6 or 7 guys that are cemented into the rotation. And this is kind of where the NBA is at right now. They really did do the Nuggets a disservice a couple years ago when they changed the CBA. They did all the apron stuff. Of course, it's right when the Nuggets are entering a potential dynasty with the best player in the world, so that's really unfortunate. Couldn't have happened with the Lakers dynasty or the Spurs dynasty or the Warriors dynasty. But yeah, and look, Calvin Booth, Michael Malone, ownership, the front office, they believe in these young guys. And I will say this, I'm not a huge fan of Jalen Pickett, but the way he's come in with the second unit recently, he's really been the sort of the floor general and the director of that second unit, which has been a very, very pleasant surprise, because that's one of the main things that the second unit has been lacking, is somebody to come in when Nikola Jokic is not on the floor and be able to execute and run the offense how it's supposed to run. Jalen Pick has been able to do that. So we'll see where Jalen is. I don't see him being some sort of superstar point guard for the Denver Nuggets by any means, but can he be a capable backup point guard for the second unit? Can he be the next Monte Morris for the Denver Nuggets? And I really liked how comfortable he was running that second unit tonight. That was absolutely fantastic stuff. Let's see. Let's get to some of your comments here, and then we're going to hear from Michael Malone here in just a bit. Polymorph, thanks for listening. MPJ, I heard Scott say he wasn't putting up 30 again. You'll have to remind me when Scott said that, because I don't specifically remember that, but all right. I like MPJ proving Hastings wrong. Take it, Hastings. Let's see here. I am getting some questions if there's going to be Between the Pipes tonight. There is not going to be a Between the Pipes tonight. The Avalanche post-game show will be back whenever the Avs next game is. Let's see here. Let me pull up the Avs schedule. So Spring and Raj are going to be off tonight, but they will be back for the Avs next game. So I'm pulling it up here. Let's see. I did see the Avs were up 4-2. It's the last I saw. So hopefully they ended up getting the win tonight. I had that game on my phone actually here at Ballerino while they won 4-2. So good for them. So that Raj and Spring will be back Friday for their game at Edmonton for Between the Pipes. So they're off tonight, but they'll be back coming up on Friday. I believe they're going to be at number 38 doing a live broadcast there. So if you want to go hang out with the guys, please feel free to do so. All right, more of your comments here. MPJ was indeed on fire. Yeah, he has been incredible. And I tweeted out during the game, I tell you what, Michael Porter Jr. is playing at an all-star level right now. He has been amazing. And it's like, where has this MPJ been over the last couple of seasons? He's had stretches and moments in his career where he shows his potential. And I've talked about this a ton. He's had those moments in his career where you can see why so many Nuggets fans and why the team was so excited when they drafted him. Now, obviously, 3 major back surgeries has been a significant contributing factor to him not reaching his full potential. I understand that. But he's played in every game this year. He played in all but one game last year, and that was an injury related. If you remember, I believe they were in LA taking on the Clippers. Michael has specialized shoes that he has to wear. They didn't bring his shoes. That's why he didn't play in that game. So for all of the concern for Michael Porter dealing with the 3 back surgeries and will he be able to stay healthy and what does his longevity look like as far as being able to play in basketball games for this team? He's been consistently healthy, knocking on wood here in Connor's hockey booth. He's been consistently healthy, and it's been great to see. And now we're finally starting to see the player that the Nuggets envisioned when they drafted him. He has been fantastic. And I talked about this last night, and it showed out again tonight. Not only was he efficient, but he's becoming a complete basketball player. He is playmaking. He's actually been pretty active on the defensive end of the floor. He's getting to the rims while being a very, very good and reliable outside jump shooter. He's the best long distance shooter on this team. Probably out. Nikola Jokic actually could be thrown in there, which is wild how good Nikola Jokic has been from beyond the arc this year. But kudos to Michael Porter Jr. He has been phenomenal this year, and especially over the last couple of weeks. It's been the best stretch of his career, no doubt about it. He's been absolutely fantastic. All right, let's see here. Pants Party, I love that name. Super overreaction take. The Nuggets are better without Jamal Murray. No, they're not. I appreciate the comment, but I completely disagree. The Nuggets are a much better basketball team with Jamal Murray. With Jamal playing like Jamal has shown he can play. The 2-man game between he and Nikola is one of the most difficult things to guard in the game today. Now, I could make the case that, and I have made the case actually, that the 2-man game between Joker and Russell Westbrook has actually been even more effective this year than the 2-man game between Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. But Jamal Murray is extremely vital to the success of this basketball team. And when I say, like, if MPJ is playing the way like he's playing right now, this gives the chance for the Nuggets to, like, legitimately get out of the Western Conference and win another NBA championship. That's with the caveat that Jamal Murray is Jamal Murray. Okay, like if Michael's playing like this, but Jamal is out or not playing well, I don't think this team has a chance to win a title. So they've got to have all those guys firing on all cylinders come playoff time in order for this team to really be successful. All right, let's go ahead and hear from Nuggets head coach Michael Malone.
Coach, second night of back-to-back, you hold them to 90 points. If you're drawing up ways to win a basketball game, especially on the second night of back-to-back, that has to rank pretty high.
Well, yeah, to win with defense like that, something that has been, of all the positives that we've had this season, obviously defense has been the one concern. And to hold them to 90 points, 36 from the field, and 16 from three are all outstanding numbers. To only give them 40 in the paint, obviously, and to dominate the transition game as well. So a good win. I like how we responded. You lose 3 in a row, and you come back and you win your next 5. And obviously now we got to prepare to go to Phoenix and try to get another road win. And as we approach these final 3 games of going into the break.
Coach, it seems with Julian Strawther, just from my perspective, you seem to coach him so hard on the sideline. I don't know if fun is probably the operative word for you. Is there something more to sink your teeth into as a coach with these younger guys who are still malleable and coachable?
Well, my biggest thing with Julian tonight was just trying to lift his spirits. I felt he was just being overly hard on himself, and allowing his, lack of shot making, 1 of 8 from the field, 0 of 4 from 3. And you could just see his body language was just like, and I don't want to see that. He's got to have a next play mentality because he's competing. Like he's trying on the defensive end. He's battling. And I just hate to see a young player like that get down on himself, So I was just trying to just say it to him again and there, like, do me a favor, take a deep breath. I mean, like the sun's going to come up tomorrow. We need you. And, just don't. I thought one time he turned down a look. He turned the corner, didn't even look at the rim. That's not Julian. So, yes, the young players are malleable, which is great word usage by you. And so sometimes it requires getting on guys, but also sometimes it requires giving a guy some love and hug him and uplift him and let him know that it's going to be okay. And that's how I felt about Julian tonight. He's not a point guard. He's a combo guard. And, Orlando is one of the better defensive teams in the league. And so he went out there and did some good things for us. He struggled to make shots, but that's not all we judge players on, is making and missing shots. So Julian's going to be better, and I'm going to help him get there.
The defense you mentioned along the 90, but the one-on-one defense I like Christian did on Wagner and Aaron on Paulo, I thought that was like man up, really good defense.
Well, it's funny, tonight, we gave the award to CB because Franz Wagner's been playing at a really high level, and I thought CB took that challenge head on. But to your point, I thought Aaron starting on Paolo and then Zeke off the bench. I mean, think about what Zeke's done. Miles Bridges, Zion, and Paolo. And he's done a hell of a job. I mean, I am just so impressed with the job that Zeke is doing right now and happy for him. Like, he's taking full advantage of this opportunity. And Zeke Najee's playing at a high level for us. So it could have gone to any one of those 3, and CB got it. But I agree. We had some tremendous one-on-one possessions, and not just a one-on-one, Scott. We had a shrink. We had, 5 guys working as one, making that paint look crowded, and that's how you hold the team to 40 points in the paint. So a good effort, and hopefully we can replicate it or be even better on the road against a dangerous team in Phoenix.
It looked like you did more hard hedges, stay with your man, get on the screen, and get back than you may have done in the last few games.
Yeah, with a guy like Paolo, kind of like what we did with Zion the last 2 games, just trying to keep a bigger body on him and not switch a Julian or a Jalen Pickett or a smaller guy where he has the advantage. And so that's where we got into some of those shows and hedges just to keep size on size, physicality on physicality. And it's helped us out these last couple of games.
What's gotten into Michael Porter Jr. these past 3 games? He's been so productive offensively.
Well, I think, one, give Michael credit because he's playing at a high level. I mean, just the efficient 11 of 16 from the field, 5 of 8 from 3, committing to his shot. And then I think the other part of it is his teammates are all looking for him. I mean, like, everybody from Nicola on down. They're looking for Michael Porter. We know he's got a hot hand right now. Aaron Gordon playing through him as a point forward, 7 more assists tonight, making plays for him. Hopefully Michael can continue to do that. 30 and 7 tonight on really efficient numbers is a terrific night for him.
Okay, so there is Nuggets head coach Michael Malone. A lot of good stuff there tonight from Michael. I wanted to start with his comments on Zeke Naji, and I mentioned this earlier on in the program. Hey, no one's been more critical of Zeke Naji this year than I have, okay? And he's kind of been the punching bag for this Nuggets roster. But I got to give that guy credit, man. Like, he's been out of the rotation for months and months and months now. And when he's been called upon over these last 5-6 games, like you heard Malone mention there, going up against Zion or Brandon Ingram or Paolo Banchero or some of the bigger players in the game, some of the better scorers in the game, he's really playing well right now, especially on the defensive end. They're knocking the 3-ball down a little bit. How you want to talk about this team like getting better at the deadline? Well, maybe the answer was in-house all along with Zeke Naji. And I tell you what, if he's going to continue to play defense the way he is, he's not going to be out of the rotation anytime soon. Like, I get the Nuggets are really injured right now. Russ is still out. Jamal didn't play tonight. Aaron Gordon is sort of like a coin flip every night with the calf injury. And Malone mentioned that that's going to be something he's just going to be dealing with for the rest of the season. But if Zeke Naji continues to play defense the way he is right now, he is going to continue to get minutes. And his ability to be sort of another Swiss Army knife on the defensive end of the floor, where the Nuggets have mightily struggled this year on the defensive end of the floor, that's going to be a huge, huge upgrade for Denver if Zeke Naji can continue and build upon what he's been doing over the last 5 to 6 games. So really great stuff there from Zeke, and just the mental fortitude to keep going, to not get down on himself, and to always be ready. And we had Michael Porter Jr. on our show a couple days ago here with the Nuggets event with the Special Olympics, which was outstanding, by the way. He talked about Zeke Naji is the hardest worker on this team. And I actually didn't know this about the Nuggets, but when they go on the road, and Michael Malone confirmed this with us, they actually will scope out high school gyms or rec gyms or whatever it is for the team to go get shots up when they're on the road. And Michael said Zeke Naji's in there every single day. So credit to Zeke Naji. He's been fantastic. And, that's something the Nuggets desperately need right now. A guy that can come in and play, defend some of the other team's best scorers. That's been fantastic. All right, I got an answer from Polymorph here about Hastings, 149.20, talking about MPJ, DMAC. I bet he goes for 30 tonight. Hastings, I bet he doesn't. Thank you. Thank you for that. I will pull that clip, and we will be playing that on Columbus, Hastings, and DMAC tomorrow to shove it in Scott's face. So Polymorph, thank you very much. I appreciate that. 149.20. Got it. Okay. So, look, in Scott's defense, like I said earlier on in the show, this is the first time in Michael Porter Jr.'s career where he has scored 30 or more points in 3 consecutive games. Never happened before. He did score 30 consecutively in the bubble in Orlando, but first time in Michael Porter Jr.'s career where he has scored 30 or more points. And I got to tell you, I don't know exactly what's been going on with Michael Porter. We've sort of seen this building this season, but I don't know if it's like him just hitting the next stage in his development. I mean, he's been in the league for 7 years now, so you would think that the developmental stage is kind of over at this point, and then you just sort of get into refining your game. But like I said, things I've noticed this year that's different about Michael Porter Jr. is him understanding he's 6'10" and can get to the rim and be effective around the rim. He has really, really embraced that this year, and it's working for him because then it opens up the outside shots. If he's getting in the lane and burning defenses in that aspect, well, now they can't cheat. Now defenses can't cheat on Michael. So it's been phenomenal to see. Now, what I want to see is not this 3-game stretch, but can he do this for a month? Can he do this all the way up into the playoffs and into the playoffs? That's going to be the real key for not only Michael Porter Jr., but for the success of the Denver Nuggets this year, as far as them being in legitimate contention to try and win another NBA championship. So excellent stuff from the Nuggets tonight. Again, if you missed it, they get the 112-90 victory over the Orlando Magic. 90 points. I mean, when is the last time the Nuggets held a team to 90 points? That was great to see. And then one final thought I did have, if you listen to the show consistently, one of my biggest issues with this team all year has been backup center. And you heard Calvin Booth say it there. That's been one of his main concerns as well. But he did say that they're comfortable enough with Aaron Gordon as the de facto backup 5 moving into the playoffs. I'm still a little bit concerned about that because of Aaron Gordon's calf injury. So it is a risk. There's no doubt about it. And again, DeAndre Jordan has been honestly better than I thought he was going to be this year. But I don't think he's a player that's going to be reliably consistent for this team as far as being able to produce and keep the momentum going, keep the scoring going, keep the offense going when Nikola Jokic is not on the floor. Well, we'll see. I mean, Malone did make a good point a week or two ago. He said, look, when we won our NBA championship, Aaron Gordon was our de facto backup 5, and that led them to a title. Now, my pushback on that was, okay, but last year, he kind of ran this team into the ground and ran Aaron Gordon into the ground to the point where Malone even said after the season, like, I might have run this team into the ground. So we'll see what happens. The difference this year, though, with Aaron Gordon being the backup 5 versus last year is kind of good and bad. He hasn't played in nearly as many games this year as he did last year because he's been nursing that calf injury that's been bugging him all season long. So I don't think if he can stay healthy, I don't think that's going to be as big of a concern for me as far as him just being absolutely wiped out by the end of round 2. But we'll see. Okay, I got to get this comment in here. This is fantastic for my guy Kelton. This type of Nuggets basketball makes me not need the Rocky Mountain men's. So you're saying you went 6 to midnight. This type of Nuggets basketball is making you go 6 to midnight. If you don't know that reference, it's from Forgetting Sarah Marshall, one of my favorite movies. So let's see here. Bandit for Nash says, glad Zeke is playing. Yeah, I'm just glad that he's getting another opportunity and he's really taking advantage of it. Awesome to see. And the fact that he has really stuck with it and not gotten down on himself, that says a lot about who Zeke Naji is as a person and as a player. And I'll tell you this, Michael Malone, one of his biggest pet peeves on this earth is people that feel sorry for themselves. So clearly Zeke has not fallen down that trap of feeling sorry for himself, and he has just been absolutely fantastic. The one guy that I think it's just absolutely done and over with this year, unfortunately, is Dario Saric. I don't see him playing it again this year, unfortunately. And, the 2 biggest free agent acquisitions for the Nuggets this offseason were Russell Westbrook and Dario Saric. Well, they hit on one of them because Russ has been tremendous this year. Big swing and a miss on Dario, unfortunately. So it is what it is. But, hey, excellent win here for the Nuggets tonight. Again, 112-90 is the final. The Nuggets they're on a roll, everybody. They are. I mean, the East Coast road trip last week was not good. They start out 0-3 in Minnesota, in Chicago, in New York, but they won 5 straight. They eke out wins over the 76ers and the Charlotte Hornets, and then they get back-to-back wins against the New Orleans Pelicans, and here tonight, again, against the Magic, and the offense has been humming. I mean, in their 5-game win streak, at Philly, 137 points. At Charlotte, 107, but that was the second night of a back-to-back. Last game of a 5-game road trip. They were dead in that fourth quarter, if you remember that game. 125 on Monday against the Pelicans, 144 on Wednesday. And then the offense showed up tonight, but it wasn't elite like we've been seeing, but the defense showed up. And now this team has improved to 33-19. And if I said this 8-game stretch where the Nuggets have 7 of their next 8 games at home is a really good chance for them to move up the Western Conference standings. Well, they've started that stretch 3-0 so far. They'll go to Phoenix on Saturday, and then so they have 3 more games before the All-Star break. At Phoenix on Saturday, they're back here at Ball Arena to play the Portland Trailblazers on Monday and Wednesday, and then they've got 8 days off for the All-Star break. So the Nuggets are really starting to look like they're finding their form, but they do need the All-Star break because this team just has so many nagging injuries. But if they can get healthy and get right, I mean this, they are just as big of a threat than anybody to compete for another NBA championship. So I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go enjoy this music that is absolutely blasting my eardrums out here at Ball Arena. I don't know how loud it's coming through my microphone, but it is. They are. Look at this. There are people going. I don't know if you can see. There are people going crazy down there right now. There is a full-blown concert going on at Ball Arena during my post-game show. So appreciate everybody listening. Awesome win for the Nuggets tonight, and we will be back on Saturday to react to Nuggets and Suns. Have a good night.